Back to Riot Turkey International Invitationals Day 4 quarterfinals with the first game of the first best of 3 with LowLandLions and TCM. I am Pulse and I'm joined by Metas. Apology for the delays, we are now 8 minutes 13 to the game, we already had some action up in top lane.
Yeah, well, Sue could very well be going down as soon as we rejoin, so the curse of the commentators once again strikes. You've missed quite a few kills here, ladies and gents. Apologies again. Dragon is going to be going down from LowLandLions, and I don't think there's a great deal that Barney D can do about this, Pulse. But it's good to finally be in the action.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, it was an issue with the tournament round that we've been having for a couple of days. There's nothing really on our end. It's our stream was having some issues. But we're now into the game, and we should get stuck into the action. And so far, it looks like TCM have been taking massive advantages all over the board.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to get in without too much lag issues. In fact, hold that thought, because Gamers Legend has found himself a Thresh. Was thinking for a few seconds about jumping on in, but didn't have the cavalry charging from I'm Heat and the rest of that lineup at bot lane. However, they are looking to transition into this tower. As I was going to say, TCM did pick up the first blood, but now it seems that LowLandLions is trying to make some plays. The box has come down alongside Stan United. Barney D's trying his best to survive this one. Ignite is ticking down. He finally falls to the Ignite there, and now Sneaky's caught between a rock and a hard place. He's trying his best as Tristana, but that is going to be a double kill for Shen, flying in with the ult, and it's not looking too good for Lulu here. Here comes the flash and the rift walk from Belgian Beast. Does he have enough damage? He's quite low on mana, and that may be the saving grace here from Lulu's perspective, but Belgian Beast going to be firing that last null sphere, not quite enough damage. However, here comes Belgian Beast and also Naruto on the job, and that should be a clean kill. There you go, and they will pull themselves back.
Yeah, just waiting for the cavalry, and TCM make a huge advantage down in that bot lane. Stan United coming into effect, and their mobility right now is way stronger than LowLandLions. In fact, what we did see in the first couple of minutes, guys, that we were unable to stream, was that they LowLandLions swapped their mid laner, which was Ahri, into the bot lane 1 versus 2 versus Caitlyn and Barney D, and by 3-4 minutes only had 0 farm. So it really hurt Ahri, and they didn't really shut down Kasten either. They had Irelia shaping up against Shen, who again wasn't having a fun time, so even within their lanes they're not doing that well, and the mobility of TCM should bring them into a very, very strong mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. It just didn't work out, did it, Pulse? Because in doing so, they put Ahri way behind, and Kassadin has been able to kind of roam around the map here and pick up a couple kills with 5 assists as well. So he's been involved in 7 out of the 9 kills. And as we were saying in the champion select, if Belgian Beast starts snowballing with this champion, it's going to get terrifying for LowLandLions very quickly. Already has the components of the Rod of Ages and a fair few stacks on the Tear of the Goddess as well. So it's just not looking too good in the early stages of this game for LowLandLions.
Yeah, right now LowLandLions are looking to dig in deep. They've gone for the triple Doran's items on both Ahri and Tristana. I realised I probably just said TSM as well, which is not the right thing, it's TCM. I also said mid lane, it's mid game, so you can already see it has a taxing effect on the casters when we're hyped for a match and then we just don't do anything for 10 minutes. But right now, TCM, yeah, I did say it right. Maybe it just appeared differently on stream. But Naruto in very, very good shape. 2-0 and 2. Gone for a more mobility-centric build right now because he doesn't really having to fear in terms of burst damage from LowLandLions, and he can just go for that extra mobility with the mobility boot and also go for the Madred's Razors, which he'll probably stick with. He won't really upgrade that into the Wriggles Lantern. Koi waiting in the top lane though. Aggressors onto Sneaky.
Oh, he's feeling confident there going in that 1 versus 2, realising that he is hyper tanky though with the Sunfire Cape and Ninja Tabi boots, so going to be mitigating a lot of that attack damage that will be coming out. Here comes Naruto on Jov in the 4th from the side. However, they don't feel like they've got enough damage right now. Irelia popping down the Equilibrium Strike. Here comes Belgian Beast from the side, and also Heat as well is going to be right in the middle of this with the teleported up Ahri, but he's going down so ridiculously fast, and that's going to be Belgian Beast getting his killing spree. Are they going to re-engage on this one as Shen is running away from Mosu? Mosu may very well be able to pick up this kill, but here comes Java from the side, flagging and dragging in like a boss, and will manage to keep his top laner alive for now. Lulu not able to poke him out. Here comes the retaliation again from Belgian Beast, leading the charge, leading the cavalry, and he picks up his unstoppable, his 5th kill already. Kassadin 5-0-5 after just 13 minutes on the board.
TCM took a huge positional advantage over LowLandLions at the end of that as well. they went off to the side, and then LowLandLions started farming again. Sneaky and Kialas was just sitting there taking some of those minions, not really sure what they were looking to achieve. Meanwhile, Morsu was attacking Koi and was not even denting his faint shield. He's so tanky right now, already with the Sunfire Cape, Tabai, and Duran's shield at this stage in the game. 4-1-5 meant that he wasn't getting taken down anytime soon, and because the two tankiest characters were on in that top lane, LowLandLions just didn't have the damage to deal with it and got taken out as a result. There's very few fights that they can pick right now that they will win.
Yeah, and just having a look at the differential between these two mid laners, you've got Kassadin, Belgian Beast on 5.2k gold, comparing that to Imheat's Ari, 3.5, nearly 3.6. That is a huge discrepancy at just 14 minutes on the timer right now, and that has transitioned nicely for Kassadin's perspective into an already finished off Rod of Ages and a blasting wand, plus 268 stacks on his Tear of the Goddess. There is simply a mammoth amounts of difference between these two mid laners' damage going into team fights.
Right now, you might be looking at the goal totals and thinking, well, it's not too big. The discrepancy isn't big enough where you say and call GG, it's like 10k, 15k, but the fact that they have such a momentum-based team means that as you progress over the next couple of minutes, LowLandLions will keep having to concede objectives, keep having to concede mid-turrets, dragons as well, and there's nothing they can do about it because they will lose in a confrontation with TCM. So TCM literally didn't need to do anything, they just need to arrive, be on time for objectives, and just take them, because there's nothing that LowLandLions can do in return. Instead, they could just go for picks on someone like Morsu.
That's exactly what they're doing, forcing the flash away. Here comes Ace in the hole. However, Lulu there with the able to get the help picks down on towards his teammate, and they will keep that alive. But as you're saying, picks are so easy with a team like TCM. The hyper mobile and the amount of burst damage they possess is just astronomical. And with forcing away Morsu, that's just going to give them a free dragon. There is nothing that LowLandLions can do about this. So even if you don't get the kill onto a player, as long as you weaken them hard enough, they have to go back to spawn, you still reap the benefits.
Yes, indeed, and LowLandLions, they have very limited options available to them. They can't go for objectives, they can't really fight anyone. Koi misses the Shadow Dash onto Sneaky as he just kind of bats him back, but he just doesn't have the damage. Morsu going in here.
And Sneaky around the back as well. Do they have enough damage though? That's a very tanky, very beefy Shen. Jumping in with the rocket jump is Sneaky. He doesn't have any cavalry as of yet, but here comes the teleportation from Belgian Beast. Going to be doing so much damage once again. Picking up his 6th kill, looking to take down Morsu. They now have the job in the 4th as well. Going to be flagging and dragging in a double kill. Already 7-0 on Kassadin. This is going to be a free tower to boot.
Such a good Shadow Dash, locked down both of them and stays in for the right amount of time and backed off enough where they thought that they could either kill him or he wasn't baiting. And then Kassadin swept in and picked up the kill. Meanwhile, Belgian Bait takes some hits.
He does, but he's got the Rift Walk and the Flash as well, so he doesn't pop them instantly, not taking any risks whatsoever. But here comes the Spirit Charge in from Imheat. Instantly the Pix ultimate as well comes in alongside Lulu. Belgian Beast trying his best to escape, and he's managed to do so by the skin of his teeth with the Rift Walk. Meanwhile, TCM are flashing up very low right now, but it's just simply not enough damage, and Thresh will pick up the pieces. That looked absolutely horrible from Kassadin's point of view, but he does manage to escape. Sneaky comes in to clean up a kill, but 16-4, that's more than a kill a minute thus far in this game.
Oh man, messes. Right now is when LowLandLions were regretting not picking the Carthus, because that was an easy quadra kill with one Requiem. But TCM, again, even caught in a bad situation where LowLandLions tried to capitalize on them being out of position, then they won anyway because they are that far ahead, and it doesn't look like this is going to relent. Next dragon should be theirs. Baron is also on the board. 17 minutes into the game, they could even take it. But they probably won't because of how that could essentially be the throw zone. TCM, they don't need to do anything, they just need to wait, maybe group up, pick a turret, but they can win any engagement. From LowLandLions' perspective, they've really dug in with the Doran's items, so that's going to reduce their scaling, and the fact they've committed so hard to this stage in the game means it's going to be even harder to try and dig in later.
That is very true, Pulse, but we've been putting a lot of the emphasis. I'm keeping an eye at bot lane just in case something kicks off. Sneaky is creeping around from the side, but Jarvan's fairly tanky right now, does have the components of Aegis of the Legion. Has he overextended, just flagging and dragging away? And the fact that they have the Belgian Beast on Kassadin to contend with is definitely not going to allow LowLandLions to give chase, because it, as Jarvan's just said in the chat, he is baiting for the Kassadin to come down and clean up. But as I was about to say, we put a lot of emphasis on Kassadin for good reason, because he is snowballing out of control. But even the AD carry is starting to get quite far ahead as well. Caitlyn already has an infinity edge compared to just a pickaxe from Tristana, and that's not even taking into account this ridiculously tanky Shen, who is just peering down that top lane. Look at his items: Sunfire Cape, Giant's Belt, and 2 cloth armors just for good measure.
Yeah, and you have to look at LowLandLions and think, well, do they have anything in the form of a saving grace? And you look at Shyvana, it's like, well, you have a tank, and Shyvana does a lot of damage as bruisers go, but it's not going to be enough to slice through Shen and Jarvan. They just don't simply have the damage, they don't have the team fight, and it's getting to the point where they can just die freely underneath turrets, and there's no way they can take them out. Koi takes some hits in mid lane, it's already down to about 60% HP, but that combo normally would have killed any other player.
Yeah, exactly. That's in a nutshell. So that's kind of Koi flexing his muscles there, getting a bit arrogant. Belgian Beast goes in, instantly takes a dark passage backwards again. They're doing a bit of poke damage here, but nothing else. Belgian Beast going back, and he's been charmed this time around. Here comes the Stand United, forcing off that ultimate, just being a bit too arrogant this time around. Jarvan is maybe going to pay with his life, though he's going to survive by a slither once again. TCM dicing on the razor's edge throughout this game, but they're going to pick up the Irelia kill. A 1-for-0 trade, but that's the 3rd or 4th time that we've seen a player from TCM escaping on about 20 hit points.
And this is the 2nd time Gamers Legends Ultimate hasn't done any damage because it got interrupted during the flight. Nuruterador interrupted it with the flag and drag and meant that Gamers Legends just kind of stood there in the middle and had to back off. Another tower gets picked up in the mid lane, TCM looking for this inhibitor as well.
They certainly are, but not if Gamers Legend has any say in this. Pushing back with the burnout, sneaky round from the backside as well. Still hasn't finished off any items of significant value. Here comes the ace in the hole from the side, forcing off the barrier. Although Heat ended up blocking that anyway. But Belgian Beast, just with one combination, chunked Tristana down to about 50% of hit points. Now I'm guessing that Kassadin has a lot of gold saved up. Yes, he does, 1.6k. So when he goes back to spawn, he's going to come back even stronger than ever.
What LowLandLions do have going for them is an incredibly good late game. Tristana is one of the best late game AD carries, but it looks like they're making a desperation play. And at Let's Point Metas, I honestly don't blame them. They're starting to clear these wards, a ping has gone down, and TCM have reacted to it. They realise what's up. Can they stop them in time, and will this be exactly what LowLandLions need to get back into this game?
Yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures, and that's exactly the LowLandLions motto going into this one. But Shen just kind of 1 versus 5's them on Baron and takes down their AP mid, which is going to be a huge denting blow. Morsu's now caught in a really precarious position. He's going to be taken out, and Kali's is going to follow as well on Lulu, you have to feel, very shortly. So it was a desperation play. Here comes the surrender. Honestly, cannot blame them, Pulse. This game just snowballed out of control at an alarmingly fast rate. I have to question that lane switch up, though. Putting Ari in a 1 versus 2, it really backfired hard.
Yeah, you guys didn't see it, but Ari was 1 versus 2. They had their Irelia 1 versus 1 against Koi as Shen, and then in the mid lane they had their bot lane, which was Tristana and Lulu versus the Kassadin, and they were unable to shut down Kassadin fast enough, and in the bot lane Ari was completely shut down. I could understand it because Tristana and Lulu take a while to ramp up and really trade up against Caitlyn and the Thresh. But they could have also put the Irelia down the bot lane, which could at least farm underneath turret. However, that didn't happen, and they just picked themselves into really bad matchups. We'll see what they pull out in the 2nd game, see if they can come back into it. But until then, we'll go on to a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be in the 2nd game with TCM and LowLandLions. Don't go anywhere.